Hi, I here. This is a reading for the sign of Pisces. We're going to do a Celtic cross spread with the Thoth deck, and what we see on the bottom of the deck is going to represent what you don't see coming. And once we get an idea of what the general message of this reading is going to be, we're going to pull 3 cards from the shadow deck to see what's going on in your subconscious and to see if there are any further clarifications we might need. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so today we are tuning in to the sign of Pisces. So if that is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, or however else you choose today to identify with the sign of Pisces, you can use that as a way of interpreting the messages that are coming through. And as always, if the details of these messages do not fit, do not try to force them. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if none of the details are really seeming to fit your life or your situation, that's okay. You can always check your other placements, or you can see what's going on in the world of other Pisceans. So let's see what we get today. What should we think about today? Are there things that we should meditate upon and sort of ponder about? Are there warnings that we need to receive? Are there things that we should look out for? Things perhaps we should avoid or try to not put our energy into? Or are there positive things that we should move towards? Things that perhaps can make our lives a little happier, a little bit easier, whatever you're looking for in your life. What messages can we receive today for those who are trying to tap into the energy of the sign of Pisces? So let's just see what we get. Let's see what happens. Alright, so we start in the present moment with the Two of Wands. I visualize this usually as some sort of gateway to some sort of journey we're going on, or perhaps the gate of a kingdom as you're looking out over the sort of land that king is ruling. That's what we see in the Rider-Waite version of this card. But it is a card of two forces. Two forces sort of coming together, and they make like a target, as you can see there. And so I really always seem to think of this card in terms of what it is that we're trying to sort of move towards. What is the sort of goal that our fire energy is sort of pointing towards? It's not the movement towards that goal yet. It is, in a sense, the identification of what that goal is. It is making a choice of what it is that you want to move towards before you actually make the movement towards it. And there it is crossed by the Queen of Discs, which is a very grounded and practical woman who is really there to nurture and help others. She takes the things from her past and tries to use them as things both for herself to enjoy, but to share with those around her, her friends and her family, so that they can reach the same level of abundance that she has. So perhaps you're in a place in your life right now where you're feeling a great deal of abundance. You've maybe accumulated some wealth that you've been trying to reach towards. Maybe you're reaching a place of comfort in your life, and you're trying to figure out where you should put back that energy, right? So maybe you're in a place of privilege of some level, and you're trying to determine how to give back to those who are less fortunate in the most effective way possible, so that you can give the most to the world and help it be a little bit better. That's the energy I'm getting from this. So let's see what's surrounding it. Okay, we have a Queen of Wands. We have a Seven of Cups. We have a Princess of Discs, an Aeon at the top, a Prince of Swords, a Knight of Wands, a lot of court cards, a Four of Discs, and the Lust card. Okay, yeah, I think this is really about connecting and helping other people. Is the vibe I'm getting from this so far. So let's get a sense of what's happening here. So we have, in terms of our major arcana, two, we have the Aeon and the Lust card, which are very powerful cards. The Aeon is really the sort of, it's the transition from one era to the next. And the Rider-Waite card, it is the Judgment card. So there's a sense of revelation as well with this card. And our other major arcana we have over there is the Lust card, really getting in touch with your true power and really connecting different aspects of yourself as a sort of way to channel that power, right? Getting in touch with both the beast and the human side of ourselves. And then, really integrating those together as a force to be reckoned with. Okay, so let us see now. In terms of our court cards, tons of court cards. We have a Queen of Wands, we have a Queen of Discs, we have a Princess of Discs, we have a Knight of Wands, and we have a Prince of Swords. So 5 court cards. So this is definitely a message about your connection with other people. Either you're dealing with a lot of other people or you're trying to connect with a lot of other people, but there's definitely a aspect of this that is about not just yourself, but sort of the community in which you are a part. I get the vibe that you are represented by the Queen of Discs in this situation, and as I already said, having that card cross the Two of Wands gives me the impression that this is about choosing what it is that you want to give your abundance to. So perhaps all these other parties in this are representing the places where you could put that energy. Okay, so in terms of the minor arcana, we have just the Four of Discs for our earth energy. We have just the air, and the Queen of Discs as well, and the Princess of Discs. So we have those 3 earth cards. In terms of our air energy, we just have the Prince of Swords. For water energy, we have the Seven of Cups, which again, really to me emphasizes a notion of choosing the right place to put your energy or your resources. And in terms of our fire energy, we have a Queen of Wands, we have a Two of Wands, and a Knight of Wands. Okay, so let's get a sense now of the sort of narrative or story in this message. So, as I said, in the present moment, I think this is about choosing where you are going to place something, whether it is your wealth or your energy. It's all about determining where you want to channel that. In the recent past, we have a Queen of Wands. This is a card of someone who is almost fiercely independent, someone who is confident in who they are. They don't need other people, but they are certainly not one to ignore those who need their help. The Queen of Wands is very commanding. She is creative. She is passionate. She's exciting. And again, she doesn't need anyone else to be in her own power. Okay, so kind of some of the vibes that I see there with the Lust card. So, as I said, I get the vibe from all these other court cards that they are representative of different places to put your energy. I kind of get the sense that the Queen of Wands in the past is about letting that energy sort of be just for you. And not necessarily in a selfish way. I'm not saying this is representative of you saying, I don't need other people. Because as I said, the Queen of Wands is not necessarily one to not help others, but she doesn't have to. She still has that water energy of any of the queens, but she's standing in her own fierce, intense power. So perhaps in the past, where you have put your energy was into yourself, bettering yourself, becoming the best version of yourself, and really being confident and standing in that and not letting other people tell you what to do or who to be. And that's great. That's a fantastic place to be. But I'm starting to get the sense that might be maybe lingering in terms of being sort of, quote, enough for you. As we transition from the Queen of Wands into the Queen of Discs, I get a sense of wanting to not just help ourselves as much, but to try to reach out and connect with other people. So it's that sense of fire about how it like sort of spreads and wanting to spread that powerful, passionate energy, but not in a destructive way, right? We don't want to be a sort of wildfire that burns everything to the ground. We want to take that passion and energy that we have and share it with others in a nurturing way. So that water energy, I think, sort of transitions from fire into discs or earth, in the sense that it's now going to be, I think of the Queen of Discs of like a tree that is sort of the canopy for other things to be protected underneath, as she sort of heals them and helps them grow. So I think you're transitioning from a place where you're going to be putting your energy not just in yourself, but in other people. But as we move along this horizontal timeline, we see a Seven of Cups, which is a question of where do we put this water energy. So I think these are sort of two sort of layers to yourself. And with the water energy here, we're looking at what are the right cups to fill? Who are the right people that we should share this energy with that are going to be, sort of mutually, I guess mutually beneficial. I don't like that phrasing because it makes it sound transactional, and I don't mean it like that. It's more in terms of like determining which places to put your energy that are going to be constructive both for you and these other sources. If we put our energy into like toxic people, sure, we can help those toxic people, but they're not going to sort of reciprocate that back and help us grow as well. Which again, that sounds transactional, and I don't mean it that way. With the Queen of Discs, it really is about spreading this as far as possible, but we also want to be smart about spreading that energy so that we are helping people and we are being helped at the same time, right? We don't want to connect ourselves with things that are going to turn our positive emotional energy into this nasty green muck water, right? We want to connect. That doesn't mean we can't help those people, but the people we truly want to connect with are the people that it's going to be a reciprocated positive interaction. So that's why with the Two of Wands, the choice that we're making to determine where to put all of this power and energy and love, we have to really be sort of critical about that, right? If we give to everyone, we'll empty our own cups and or sort of get them mucked up with other people's sort of bad energy. So I think the vertical timeline here is a little bit more of a reflection about what it is that we want so that we don't end up in a nasty Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is not inherently all bad. It's good. It's about choosing what is sort of the best route. Some of it can be good, some of it can be bad. And so the ideal, as we're doing the investigation of what it is that we should move towards and put our energy into, is here this vertical timeline. Not really a timeline, it's just this vertical axis. So underneath it all, we have the Princess of Discs, which is the seed that grows the tree that is the Queen of Discs, right? But one day the Princess of Discs will mature and grow into this Queen energy. So I think this is your internal side. Again, these are all, these really do feel like all sides of you in some sense. And maybe we will go through all the court cards and as if they were sides of you, but I still stand by the idea that so many of these court cards appearing is about determining where you want to put your energy. It could be at different aspects of yourself as well, rather than putting the energy in other people. We could have an interpretation where in the past we put our energy into standing powerful and strong. Now we want to put our energy into nurturing, and so we're determining from here the Princess of Discs where to plant those seeds, either in other people or in different sides of yourself, to let them grow into something that's going to help as much as possible, whether it be helping yourself or helping others. But I really do get the sense that you're trying to reach out more and help others, but I digress. This card here, the Princess of Discs, I'm really seeing as the determining the seed in which to put the earthy side of what you're doing. It's about, the suit of discs, the earth energy, is about building things in the world. And so this is your internal discussion with yourself about not just where to put your emotional energy. That's what this is. This is about what you want to put your time and actual physical energy into that's going to build a better sort of future, I guess. So you're looking at different sides of yourself, or if you want to think externally, this could be your internal sort of dialogue of looking at other people and what sort of situations do you want to put your time in. You know, if you know all these different people who have all these different problems, you can't be everywhere at once. So it's about picking out which of those people you are going to spend the time with to help. Okay? And this is about planting those seeds. This is about forging those connections in the present or even in the recent past that are going to lead to fruitful growth that will open up doors to a more positive future. So that's the aeon there at the top. So this is planting those seeds now in the ground, putting in the time to let them grow so that one day they will grow to something into a it's like you're planting the seeds now to grow what will one day be a doorway to walk through so that you can see what a better future can be. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's the image I'm getting. It's like you're planting a bunch of trees, and those trees are one day going to grow, and you want to plant the right trees so that they grow in a way that I'm literally visualizing a pair of trees that are like the gateway that I described with the Two of Wands. So you're putting your energy in the right places so that you can build what will one day be something you can walk through, and that's what's going to take you to basically a new version of yourself in your world. Okay? So I don't know if that message is quite making sense, but that's the visual I'm getting about why we have a princess moving into an aeon. It's about building, it's like you're building the portal to walk through that will one day help you sort of ascend to a sort of higher version of yourself. And so we need to do the work of making sure that we're planting seeds in the right place and that we are watering properly the right cups so that those seeds that we plant really grow properly into, you know, what you can almost think of as a kingdom. Maybe that's why we have a Four of Discs over there. It kind of is like the trees you're planting will one day be the walls of your kingdom. And you know, like the Queen of Discs is sort of like the sort of biggest tree in the forest with all the little trees growing around her. This is like you trying to plant those seeds to figure out what are the best sort of saplings that are one day going to build this beautiful kingdom that you were the sort of queen initiator of. And once this process is complete, that's really the card that is the sort of guiding force above all of this that you're moving towards, is building that kingdom that will one day then have its own little trees and saplings that will expand their kingdom in a nice sort of, you know, recursively expanding process here. Okay. Now here we have a Prince of Swords in your general energy, which again I think really does tie back into maybe another aspect of yourself. Though this to me almost feels like a connection with other people still, in the sense that, like, I always think of the Prince of Swords as trying to unify your thoughts and trying to pull them together into a single sort of concept, because we have all of these little pieces. I mean, this really does remind me of exactly what I was just describing, of this tree that is sort of the canopy over which all these other little smaller saplings will one day become trees themselves. And so it's like you're planting all of these different little seeds around you to grow all these different ideas, all these people that you're inspiring, helping them develop themselves and reach their potential, so that one day you can show other people that this is all part of a bigger plan. You know, each of these little people that I'm helping, maybe if it's internal, each of these little ideas that you're sort of engaging with as you grow and expand who you are, they're all these little trees that you plant that one day become a forest, right? The tree for the forest kind of thing. Like each individual tree is an individual thing, but collectively they form a single unit that is the forest. And I see this as you trying to determine what trees to plant so that you can create that thing that will one day be that unified forest. And that's why that's your present energy. That's exactly what you're doing. You're thinking about how not just to empower yourself, but to figure out how to empower other people. Okay? And it's all part of some sort of grander sort of vision you have for expanding yourself beyond just yourself and more into a forest that you will be the queen of, right? But the other thing to keep in mind is, too, as that forest grows, the queen is no longer as unique because she is also still a part of that forest. We're all unified into this one entity that is the forest at one point. Okay, so that's your present energy, and I love that. So here in the environment is the Knight of Wands. So remember I talked about the spreading of fire. You want to take that energy and that passion that you put in yourself and you want it to expand outward. So we have this metaphor of growing. We have water that's helping plant the sort of physical seeds that are being planted, but there's more to it than that. There's also a level of passion that you need to inspire others with. So when you're putting your energy into other people, you're not just giving them money that says like, okay, here's some charity so you can like get on your own 2 feet and survive financially. You want to inspire them. You want them to have that same passionate fire within you as they grow as well. So you don't want to just give to them, love or resources. You also want to give them the fire so that they can become just as passionate and excited as you were when you were the Queen of Wands. So in the environment with the Knight of Wands, this is taking that fiery energy and expanding it outward from yourself so that other people can connect with that same passion and become themselves manifestations of that same passion of you as the Queen of Wands. This is the expansion of that energy into others and showing that they too can have that same kind of that same kind of energy. So you're like charging in as the knight here and inspiring them so that they can each be their own queen individually. Okay. Now with the challenge there is the Four of Discs. I think, as I said before, I feel like I have this image of planting all of these seeds to build a kingdom. And I think that's the challenge, is building the foundation for this kingdom. The question right now is, what do we put our energy into so that it will one day grow into something very beautiful? If you've ever done any sort of like landscaping or anything, you understand that it's all about planting the right plants in the right places so that they will naturally grow into something really beautiful. And so building that foundation is putting the right types of things in the right places and then sort of letting them do their own thing as they grow into something more beautiful. And that's a challenge. And that's why this is difficult. And that's why I think that's the card that's sitting there. But you're ready for that challenge. Right now it looks like you're in the process of, planning this all out so that you can then execute it. And that's what the Lust card is representing, is actually putting this into motion, taking this plan of what you want to move towards and then embracing it fully with your strength, connecting with both your wild side and your tame side, the active, receptive, pulling all of that together and then using that flaming, powerful strength to create this beautiful kingdom that you're trying to create. So the challenge is building the foundation, and once that foundation is built, then we step into the Lust card or the Strength card, and we actually rule over this kingdom as it continues to grow and it continues to build. And we don't lose touch with the passion of the past, but now we have a sense of this integrated nurturing side to it as well. So it's like the beast there is the fiery passion from the past, but the new nurturing emotional energy is what's coming there with the maiden that is on top of the beast. And when those two things integrate together, that's when you find really your true purpose, your true calling, which was to build this kingdom in the first place. So I like that. Beautiful. So let's see what you don't see coming. Connections, love, more water energy. We don't want Seven of Cups energy. We're in the process right now of figuring out what we want to put our energy into. But once you figure out what it is you want to put your energy into, then you actually can connect with other people. And that's when you tap into that energy of love that is really going to be the sort of connective tissue that keeps this entire forest or kingdom united. It's all through connections, and those connections are forged through emotional bonds and true love, right? It's about passion with the fire, love with the water energy, building with the earth energy, and yeah, the air energy is us right now trying to sort of figure out a plan for how to make all of these things unite together, and I love it. That's fantastic. So let's see what we have from the shadow deck. All right, so what's in your subconscious? What are we thinking about? We're building, long-term building, not short-term wins, but these are long, long plans laid down with intent and purpose that will one day turn into something very, very beautiful. let's see what we're building. Well, let's see what we're thinking while we're planning our building. Alright, so we've got Nine of Cups, the Hanged Man, and the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is surprising to me now. The Nine of Cups, of course, is as we're connecting with this and we're building this kingdom, you're looking for joy, you're looking for happiness, and perhaps if we're moving from the Queen of Wands energy into the Lust card and we're getting more Queen of Discs energy, it perhaps is transitioning out of a place. So the Queen of Wands there is perhaps more of your, I guess it's more of your own personal power and strength. And so perhaps you're moving from a place of your sort of personal happy place and wanting to share that with others. So the Nine of Cups is about pleasure and joy, but it's more of an isolated pleasure and joy. The nines tend to have a lot of isolation associated with them. And so with the Hanged Man energy, that is, I think, us taking all of that joy inside of us and maybe putting it like in a cocoon. That is the Hanged Man energy, and just sort of reflecting upon it and looking at it from a different point of view and realizing where we're going to take that going forward. So perhaps the Ten of Swords here is representative of, as we're looking at the things that have made us happy and bring us joy, really identifying what aspects of that are sort of the most fruitful and constructive as we move forward. Perhaps there are aspects of the Queen of Wands that are a little bit too self-centered, or a little bit too rough around the edges. I'm not saying to cut down on your power or anything like that, but if we're going to connect with other people, perhaps there is an aspect of the, it's looking at what the potential negative sides of embodying that sort of independent energy are, and not like, you don't want to be more like suppressed in that energy. It's just about sort of focusing on how that energy can be used more constructively. So the Ten of Swords is about looking at what aspects of that sort of era of your life are potentially less constructive, or even to some degree destructive, so that way as we move forward we can put it into that aspect. Again, not turning the energy down, just being a little bit wiser about how we sort of channel that energy. And the Ten of Swords is doing the difficult work of looking inward and deciding what are the parts of that should move forward, and what are the parts that should be gotten rid of, and really putting away the parts that keep us disconnected when we're in that sort of powerful energy, and moving more towards a way where we're more connected. Like the Ten of Swords is like the cage, and we're removing the bars of that cage that keep us from being able to connect more fully with other people. So we're taking that positive joy, we're cocooning it up and looking at it so we can determine how to push it forward. And while we're in that cocoon, we're doing the reflection upon what parts need to be removed as we transform into this next era of putting our energy into others more than just putting our energy into our own passions. Okay. And with what we don't see coming from the shadow deck is justice. Yeah, that's kind of the idea I'm talking about here, is this rebalancing. Like, as we're trying to connect more with others, move from being focused on ourselves and more focused on other people, this is about getting that alignment correct. So taking all the positive aspects, bundling them all together, letting the old negative stuff die away so that the new stuff can expand out of this sort of egg or cocoon. And then we can step into our Queen of Discs energy and learn the lessons from the past that we can then spread forward into new, more fruitful connections with other people. So that's what I have for you today, Pisces. I hope this was helpful, or that you at least enjoyed it. As always, if there are different or deeper or other messages from these cards that you received as I went through this, please use your intuition to receive the messages as you need to receive them. But yeah, again, I hope this was helpful. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If you have any feedback or comments or just anything you'd like to share, please leave a comment down below. And if you know anyone who would enjoy or benefit from this or any of my other videos, please share them as you see fit. And yeah, that's all I have for you today, Pisces. So I hope you have a great rest of your day.